Thanks to new minority owner Tom Brady, the Las Vegas Raiders are the favorites to hire Detroit Lions offensive coordinator Ben Johnson to be their head coach. There are rumblings out there that Brady's selling Johnson on building a team together with the GM they both like. They got rid of former GM Tom Telesco right before the interview and interviewed John Spytek a few days later, so he might be it. So Johnson would be coming into a situation where he has his GM, the sixth pick in the draft, and $112.5 million in cap space. He'd have the makings of a great defense too. All he'd need is a quarterback. The Jacksonville Jaguars and Chicago Bears are the two other teams competing with the Raiders, and they have quarterbacks. So what plan for a quarterback could Brady have sold Johnson on? Okay, so what route would the Raiders end up taking to get a quarterback via trade? The Raiders definitely want a young quarterback, but it won't be a young franchise quarterback like Joe Burrow because it would cost way too much if they found a seller. Then there are the old guys like Aaron Rodgers and Kirk Cousins. You don't want to trade for them either because you're taking on big salaries, plus they're not young. Then there's the fact that they'll likely get cut by their team, so you can get them from free agency if all else fails. So the young guy I trade for Johnson to develop is Joe Milton. I liked him coming out of Tennessee, but my eyebrows were really raised when everyone else's were raised the last week of the regular season. Milton was accurate and had some zip on the ball as he was 22 of 29 for 241 yards and a touchdown. He threw a pass an NFL record 61.5 miles an hour in the game too. The 6'5", 250-pounder also showed off his 4.5 speed and athleticism with a scramble and a touchdown run. Oh, the things Johnson can do with him. How much would it take for the Patriots to give him to Brady? What should the Raiders do if they go the free agency route? There are some interesting options in there. The first one I want to talk about is Sam Darnold. I know a lot of Raider fans don't want to talk about him because he had a bad game last night in the playoffs, but that's one game. Okay, we can count it as two because of how he played in the previous game, but still, Darnold had a hell of a season with 4,319 yards, 35 touchdowns, and 12 interceptions. He went 14-3, losing to only two teams, and showed a big arm and some mobility in the process. Wouldn't you take 14-3 from a quarterback, or do you focus on the big game performance and let that override everything? In that case, we go to Justin Fields. That's the guy I would take. He has an even bigger arm, and while running a 4.4 40, he has more mobility than Darnold. He went 4-2 in 6 starts while throwing for 1,106 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 1 interception. Both he and Darnold fit Johnson's system with their big arms, but Fields is more dynamic and has more upside. Imagine what Johnson can do with this kid. This quarterback class isn't deep as there are only 2 of them that are truly coveted while the Raiders don't pick until number 6 overall. There are 2 if not 3 teams that need quarterbacks picking ahead of them too. We saw last year that teams don't want to trade down from their spots, so the Raiders might need one to fall down to them. Of the truly coveted quarterbacks in this class, which one do you think would fall? Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders? I don't see either one of them falling that far. But I'm seeing names like Jalen Milroe in the 2nd round and Quinn Ewers in the 3rd round these days. Do you think the Raiders grab one of those guys in one of those rounds? There are rumblings about Jackson Dart these days too. NFL draft experts like Mel Kiper say he's a 1st-round pick. I don't know about that. I really haven't paid too much attention to him, nor have I seen him on film yet. Do you agree with Kiper, or do you see him as a 2nd or 3rd-round pick? This one is a hard one. I don't have an answer for it myself. I really want to know what Brady told Johnson his plan was for a quarterback if they get one through the draft. More and more each day, it looks like Brady's going to bring in the duo of Johnson and Spytek to be the head coach and GM. Down in Jacksonville, there's starting to be buzz about Robert Saleh getting the job there. In the Chicago Bears, the last I heard, Cliff Kingsbury was the leading candidate there. That was a while back though. Either way, that makes me wonder what Brady said to Johnson to make him feel good about the quarterback situation in Las Vegas. So my top candidate to trade for is Milton. My top candidate in free agency is Fields. And my top candidate in the draft is I don't know. Thank you for watching. See you next time.